How's it going, everybody? Sorry for my absence. I know it's been a minute. But either way, gonna have to cram together the college and NFL review over this past weekend in one video. Time's running a little light this week. I do apologize, so let's get started. Uh, uh, First off, Bama, Georgia, game of the week in college football last week. Number two versus number three. And we had a great game in the first half, back and forth. Really looked like the dogs set the tone. Alabama had no answer for Stetson Bennett the fourth. Um, Kid played awesome. Did not look like a walk on. Had Alabama, Nick Saban, Pete Golding, excuse me. Uh, had them on their toes. Uh, Now, I do think with Jordan Battle being out with the targeting call in the first half, I do think that played a large role because when he came in, things were a big different in the second half. But hats off to Georgia. Um, they pretty much matched everything Alabama was able to do, and they really had Alabama's defense on their toes in the first half, leading 24 to 20 at half. But Alabama's offense just too good in the end. Mac Jones passing over 400 yards for the third straight game. Never happened before in the history of Alabama football, and that's saying a lot when you consider what this team, with its history of college football, um, this is the best offense in the country, completely. I know Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback, but I don't know if there is a group of receivers that is better. Oh, actually, there isn't. And I don't know if there's a defense that could stop this offense for 4 quarters, because I do believe Georgia has the best defense in the country. And if you smoke this defense for 41 points and over 564 yards of total offense, that's saying something. And Alabama in the second half, which were aided by turnovers, but um, the turnovers were forced because Georgia was not allowed to stay in their comfort zone, and they had to play Alabama ball. They were forced to not run their type of offense. It made Stetson Bennett throw passes he wasn't comfortable making, and the game flipped. And that's what ended up taking momentum from Georgia. It made Georgia play uncomfortable, and that's how they got routed 21 to nothing in the second half. Uh, but hats off to Alabama. Hats off to Nick Saban, who's now 22-0 against his former assistants. But hats off to Stetson Bennett. He played a great first half. And for a kid to be a former walk on, playing at his, he grew up loving Georgia, being a lifelong Bulldogs fan, and just to be out there playing for his team. No, it's not the result he wanted, but just to be out there playing quarterback for your favorite team, uh, that's storybook, uh, no matter how you slice it. Now on to the other game, number five, North Carolina upset by FSU. FSU needed this in the worst way. What has been a miserable season for Mike Norvell in his opening season in Tallahassee, and they pulled it out. It's 2020. You know, I talked about in my when I was discussing weekends how, you know, just 3 years ago, you wouldn't have believed if I said North Carolina was a 13.5 point favorite going into Tallahassee over Florida State, much less that it was North Carolina that was the number 5 team. And, well, maybe the world did tilt back a little bit because Florida State gets the win, 31-28. They actually jumped out to a pretty nice lead, and they were able to hold off a Sam Howell and North Carolina rally late in the game. And North Carolina did make it interesting, but Florida State and their defense, where Florida State would hold them. Actually, Florida State would have a 31-7 halftime lead. North Carolina would outscore them 21-0 in the second half. Really, and Sam Howell, another solid day for him. Really, one of his better passing days. He was 20 for 36, 374 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 costly turnover, though. Florida State quarterback Jordan Travis, pretty pedestrian, 8 of 19 passing. He did have 191 yards, 1 touchdown, interception, but the difference maker, where he made the difference, was on the ground. 16 carries, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So that was a huge game out of him. And them getting the upset over number 5, North Carolina. But for all intents and purposes, everything is still in front of North Carolina. As far as the ACC championship goes, as long as they take care of business in front of them, they should still be in position to get demolished by Clemson. Sorry, Tar Heel fans, but that's pretty much what's going to happen if you run up against the Tigers in Charlotte, if y'all make it that far. So I don't know, maybe it'd be better for Miami to sneak in there or something. Maybe let them get trounced again. But we shall see. Now, to me, the game of the weekend, besides, the Alabama-Georgia was promoted as the game of the weekend, but the actual one was Central Florida at Memphis, and what a game it was. I mean, this was a game that had 99 points combined scored in it. Now, Central Florida had a 12-point lead with about 6 minutes. They scored to get a 12-point lead with a little under 6 minutes left, and Brady White and the Memphis Tigers. Brady would lead Memphis on 2 touchdown drives with less than 6 minutes to play to give Memphis a 1-point lead. Then Central Florida quarterback Dillon Gabriel would get Central Florida in field goal range, and they would miss the field goal with a little more than just a few seconds left. Brady White would have to go and kneel the ball one time to run out the clock, just to put the end on a just a thrilling game, 50-49. The Tigers would get the win, and if you take a look at it, had Central Florida not been upset, I think last week, and Memphis had been beat by SMU the week before also, this could have been a top 15 matchup, and the winner, with North Carolina being upset, I mean, woulda, shoulda, coulda, but, this game could have been very huge. Sadly, it didn't work out that way, but these two quarterbacks, just super games out of them. You look at Dillon Gabriel, the losing quarterback, and you hate to call anybody a loser in this game, but Dillon Gabriel for Central Florida was 35 of 49, 601 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Brady White for Memphis, 34 completions, 50 attempts, 486 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Uh, just superb performances out of these two guys. And this is what college football is about. But I'll tell you what college football is not about. And I couldn't get the name of the Central Florida player that went up and smarted off to the Central Florida kicker, who was already upset and mad at himself for missing the kick and costing the team his team the game. I hope that coach, frankly, if I was the head coach, that guy would no longer have a spot in my locker room unless he apologized, because that's not being a teammate. Uh, that's being selfish, and the kicker already feels. I'm sure he doesn't need any help on feeling any lower. So that's just pretty trashy of a human being to go up there and to put your teammate down in that kind of moment. You're supposed to try to uplift somebody, especially your own teammate. But I digress. Either way, now we're going to move on to the NFL. Well, and on Sunday we found out what happened when you put the number one rushing attack of the Cleveland Browns against the number one rush defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Round one, Pittsburgh. Uh, they essentially did exactly what Baltimore did to Cleveland. They shut down the run. They said, we're going to make you beat us, Baker. And Mayfield folded. Well, to be fair, he only had 18 pass attempts, but he was pulled due to the lack of confidence, I'm guessing. Case Keenum come in. He was 5 for 9 for 46 yards. He did have one interception. But it was pretty bad. 10 for 18, 119 yards, one touchdown, and one pick. Roethlisberger, only 162 yards passing, but hey, 14 of 22, one touchdown. The most important thing, Pittsburgh 5-0, and they got the 38-7 win, and that's all that matters. Pittsburgh's 5-0, they're rolling, and that's what they wanted to do. Pittsburgh dominated. They were, unstoppable force meets an immovable object, and the immovable object's undefeated. What happens when a speed car hits a tree? The tree wins always. That tree's not going to move 9 out of 10 times. So either way, just a great win for Pittsburgh. Cleveland still got work to do. Obviously, disappointing loss. You're not where you thought you were. But don't give up. Keep improving. You're 4-2. The world's not ending. Y'all didn't flip to 2-4 all of a sudden. So just keep on. Get back to the grindstone. Keep at it. And speaking of that, the world is not. World is not ending. Everybody needs to get off of Josh Allen's butt. Okay, he's had a couple of, I wouldn't even call them terrible games. And look who he's played. It's not like he's went up a couple of bad teams and laid eggs. He's played against the defending Super Bowl champs, and then he played against another team who had been dogged out by the entire NFL for 2 weeks and were looking, I don't care who played the Titans that night. they were going to get slacked. And I hate it for Josh Allen that it was him and the Bills. But I promise you, go to sleep on Josh Allen. Go to sleep on him. And Kansas City just happens to have the number one pass defense in the NFL. If they don't have the number one, they're in the top three, I know. Josh Allen and his set of receivers, Diggs, Bees, they're going to be fine. Just need to work on some things. You know, young guys like him always hit a little rough patch during the season. He'll be fine, though. You don't just play as well as he has just to drop off. This is a very good Buffalo team. The thing I'm more concerned about in Buffalo is their secondary and their defense. Their defense has not been near as efficient as I believed it was. Something that I was expecting on being a strength in the preseason or before the season started has actually kind of been a glaring nerve. And it's been somewhat of a disappointment. So hopefully they can get that corrected. Maybe, who knows, make a trade before the trade deadline, get some help in the secondary. Something along those lines. But I think Josh Allen's going to be fine. I think everybody's overreacting a little bit. He was 14 of 27, 122 yards. I think he had one touchdown or two touchdowns and one interception against the Titans. Against the Chiefs on Monday night. So, no matter of fact, they had a lead early in the game, and then they just kind of stalled out in the second half against the defending Super Bowl champs. Just a reminder of who they were playing. So, FYI. Pat Mahomes, he's done that to quite a few people, Mahomes was 21 of 26, 225 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, it's kind of hard to look good going up against that guy. He's made a lot of quarterbacks look bad going up against him. So I honestly wouldn't panic if I was Buffalo. They're 4-2. Long season ahead. Still got, 12, 13 weeks? They'll be fine. Let us see. And this is something else that the Bills really should be worried about. They also had their worst game for their rush defense. They came in number 3 in the NFL as far as rush defense, and Edwards-Helaire just gashed them. 26 carries, 161 yards. They did keep him out of the end zone, but I think they had 5. They did bend, but they did break to the tune of, I think, 5 field goals or 4, something like that. But still, against a team like Kansas City, 161 yards, and then you got Pat Mahomes carving you up, which I guess it was pick your poison. Either Pat Mahomes is going to do it for 300 something or 400, and then I guess it's a lesser of two evils. But kind of shocked when I seen that statistic, how much Edwards-Helaire gained on the ground. Even Derrick Henry, I think they held him under 60 yards when they lost to the Titans. I do believe, even in that blowout it was. last but not least, to me, the game of the week in the NFL, or at least what I thought leading into it would have been. Well, actually, I didn't think it was the game of the week. I thought it was the most important matchup, the Battle of the Bays. Although, if you look at the locations, they couldn't be more different. Green Bay and Tampa Bay. And I knew this. Called it on my preview or on my predictions. I knew there was no way in hell Tampa was going to lose this game after the way Tom Brady messed up in Chicago. Tampa was wanting to send a message to the rest of the NFC that whoever's going to get to the Super Bowl, they may not have home field advantage. One way or the other, you're either going to have to go through Tampa or somebody that had to go through Tampa. But Tampa Bay is going to have a direct or indirect effect on getting to the Super Bowl. Um, this is an elite team, and they're only going to get better the more they play together. Um, Green Bay had really not been challenged this year, um, and really this is the best thing for a team like Green Bay to get smacked in the mouth. Um, this is probably one of the worst Aaron Rodgers games I've seen him, or one of the worst games I've seen him play. Um, and he needed it. You know, it's gut check. It happens to all championship teams, or at least it usually does in one way, shape, or another. They all have that gut check game. Uh, and this could have been it for the Packers, or it could have just been the moment of clarity for the Bucks. Who knows? But I think the writing was on the wall before the game. Green Bay kind of jumped out early, and then when the second quarter started, which I think we could already see everything starting to turn. Um, Even Green Bay with the early lead, I never got the feel that Tampa was out of it or that Green Bay just had control of the game. Um, so to me, like I said, you could almost feel the onslaught coming, and the back-to-back interceptions almost returned. The one returned for a touchdown, then the second one almost returned, and that only being the sixth ever returned in Rodgers' career. That's just an amazing stat. Shows to how great he is as a NFL quarterback and as a Hall of Famer. But this one goes to the real GOAT. And they don't call him the GOAT for no reason. Although he didn't have to do much in this one because of that great Tampa defense they've got this year. And just great win. They really needed it to bounce back after that tough one in Chicago. And like I said, I don't really think it's going to affect either team. Uh, as far as I don't think the loss is going to hurt Green Bay. I don't think it's going to be devastating towards their season. If anything, it might be like a splash of cold water in the face to help wake them up. Hey, we are mortal. We better wake up. And for Tampa, it's nothing but a confidence booster, something to gel them together, bring them together. So other than that, it's not really going to have a negative outcome for the Packers. It's what I'm trying to get out. I know I'm doing a piss poor job at it, but that's what I'm trying to allude to. Anyway, so but a great win for Tampa, and Green Bay can just kind of brush it off and move on to next week. Um, and before moving on, just Derrick Henry, King Henry, great game. The Titans just keep rolling. Atlanta getting their first win of the year. Um, Nick Foles and the Chicago Bears looking strong, doing great. Let's see. Ravens still looking good. And the poor Cowboys, that was another one. Just the writing was on the wall without Dak. Zeke fumbling twice on, what was it, back-to-back possessions. That hey, just hate it for a team with that much offensive talent. But, hang, Jerry, how do you let... What happened to that defense, though? God. But either way, I guess the one thing I will take away is that hot mic moment from Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Guys, check your mic, because nobody gives two shits of what you think about where our tax money goes, okay? So just make sure your mics are off, because really it's disappointing to hear your 2 cents about anything other than football. But with that being said, take care. God bless. Hope you check back with us for the weekends. And to my Atlanta Braves, great season. Sign Ozuna. Don't let him leave. Sign Ozuna. MV free. We love you. Y'all take care. God bless. Well, all right, everybody. I appreciate you joining us. Oh man, this has been another episode of that's my opinion sports, and I appreciate you joining us again. Um, please check back with us. I'll have a college football probably about Wednesday. I mean, it's tomorrow. Probably Friday. Have a pro video on Saturday. Still trying to change the format. Do a little something different. Trying to get something going on the channel. Trying to pump it up a little bit. Up the views to somebody. But anyways, those people who are watching, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate likes, views, and the subscription. So thank you. Take care. And God bless. Peace.